Warning! 2 huge tsunamis from Prime Drink have been detected on the horizon. Save yourselves!
Uh-oh.
JJ, look at this! This was filmed not far from our house. There's a huge tsunami of Prime Drink coming right towards us.
It's terrible, Mikey. If it gets to us, it'll wash away the whole village.
On the other side is the same tsunami, only of red Prime Drink. We have nowhere to run. It's going to wash us away.
Let's go outside. There's no point in sitting here waiting for the tsunami to catch up with us.
The villagers are already in full preparation for this disaster. They order the Iron Golem to move their homes to safety, only it will not help them. The tsunami on both sides, which means that there is nowhere to run.
What do we do then, Mikey? Are we gonna get hit by a huge tsunami?
I have one pretty crazy idea, but it requires going to my house. I happen to have a dog that can survive much more efficiently than a human in such conditions.
Indeed, dogs are much more resilient than humans, and they can swim longer, but what if monsters come along with the tsunami?
For this, we will now make her a diamond armor to protect her from the attack of monsters and obstacles that can be encountered drifting on the waves of this tsunami.
That's a good idea. No one can harm our dog, and it's dangerous to be in a tsunami without armor. You could get bumped and hurt. Now our dog is protected, but what are we gonna do? We're not going to ride her, are we?
Not a bad idea, but it's much easier to use the ender pearls to teleport inside the dog.
This is crazy, but it should help us. The tsunami is coming. We need to act now.
The tsunami is coming, but we're ready for it. But we must not relax. We must be ready for any adventure.
Just how do we get inside the dog? Feed him ender pearls? He needs a sauce or something. What if they're unpalatable?
No time to think. Feed him ender's pearls.
The tsunami's coming. It's coming right at us. Hold the ender pearls. Now we have to hide from this tsunami. Let's do it.
Woohoo!
Okay, we're finally inside. Now hopefully this will help us escape the tsunami. Let's see what's inside the dog.
Judging by what he ate, he wasn't very careful about his diet. There's so much stuff here. Rotting flesh, emerald, there's even a Prime Drink in here. I feel like we got a lot of work to do.
While we're sitting here, we can really do a little healing by cleansing the dog system. At the very least, we should get the cans and emeralds and other things out of here that shouldn't be in the stomach.
Here we have an observation point where we can watch what's going on outside on the dog's behalf.
Something terrible is happening outside. Not only is there a tsunami, but it's raining Prime Drink. It's a good thing we're hiding out here. It would be really hard on the surface.
It is worth remembering that the dog may be injured and we will have to help him heal them.
Of course, we take care of the dog and the dog takes care of us, so we help each other. Well, looks like we're gonna have to clean up.
JJ, look, we got a problem.
What? What's the inside of our dog doing Prime Drink?
She probably drank it a couple times while she was running around the village. We need to get rid of it. We can start by putting up note blocks.
Note blocks? Why? Are you bored and want to add music? How can music help us get rid of this liquid?
The vibrations emitted by the note block prevent the Prime Drink from spreading through the dog's body.
Genius! I wouldn't have thought of that. In general, during the dog's trek through the flooded village, he could have gotten a lot of injuries, at least because he had to jump from high places. And we should not forget that we should not allow the Prime Drink to get into the dog's system.
Right, which is why we do everything we can to keep our dog out of harm's way, because our safety and our ability to survive this disaster depends on it.
When do you think we'll be able to get to the surface? One way or another, we're gonna have to do it sometime. Why don't we take the dog away from the village?
No way. We are probably surrounded by the ocean, and our village is like a small island. We need to wait out this disaster. We could build a shelter inside the dog to wait out the horror.
The dog seems to have fallen and possibly sustained some sort of injury, judging by the fact that he's standing still. We need to sort out this problem and get the dog walking again.
You're right. Let's see what kind of trauma the dog suffered. By the way, I have another idea. It's to build a sanctuary inside this dog and repair its wounds in parallel. I think that would be a good mutual aid.
It sounds crazy, but we have no choice. We'll live here, but in return, we'll help the dog deal with any injuries he may have. Once the danger is gone, we'll clean up everything we've built here.
We need to start building a shelter, because we need a place where we can wait for a couple of weeks or even months. The water won't leave the village that quickly, and we won't be able to get back there anytime soon. I hope that the villagers have also secured themselves, and as soon as we get back to the village, we will see people we know.
I think someone will get out, but we need to keep ourselves safe. We need to build a comfortable and protected place, even though we will destroy the shelter after a while to avoid leaving it in the dog's body.
Yes, we will have to work hard to create a comfortable and safe place. Let's start with a solid foundation. We can use the materials that the dog ate, stone blocks, wood, maybe even some iron.
Great! But before we get started, we need to carefully examine the dog's stomach so we don't accidentally activate something dangerous. What if he swallowed some kind of dynamite?
It's full of junk, but I don't think we've seen anything explosive yet.
We need to go back and see how the dog is doing and what's going on outside.
I think the dog is fine. He's splashing around in that drink and running free in the village while all the villagers have fled to safety, which means you can do whatever you want and no one will even say a word.
You really don't have to worry about your dog, since he has protection from this prime drink. I'm afraid to even touch this water, as it is probably life-threatening, at least in large quantities. Look, Mikey, our dog is still running around the flooded village like nothing happened. It's like she's enjoying the chaos.
Yeah, she clearly doesn't realize what's going on. These waves of drink prime flood the entire village, but she keeps splashing merrily along like it's just a big game.
I wonder how she even manages not to drown in that red and blue slurry. Maybe her armor does help her, but I'm still worried.
The armor probably makes her lighter and helps her stay afloat. Plus, she clearly has incredible stamina. Look how easily she overcomes obstacles and leaps from one flooded house to another.
The villagers have long since fled for cover, and our dog seems to be enjoying the complete absence of people. It's as if she thinks this is her new playground.
JJ, look, it looks like the prime drink has started leaking inside the dog's body. That's just awful. If we don't act now, we could be in serious trouble.
Has this drink already started to get inside? The entire stomach is being flooded with this liquid. If we don't clean this up as soon as possible, not only could the dog get hurt, but we ourselves will be trapped in it.
We need to take action now. We must do everything we can to stop the drink from spreading further.
In the meantime, you put up the blocks and test how they affect the drink. I hope it works. I've already installed a few blocks, as long as there are no leaks.
We've already done half the work. Just a little more to go and we'll get rid of that fluid. Keep putting up the blocks, and then we can finally start building.
Great! I think that's the last of it. Now we can take a little break. I think we've managed to clear the body of all that water. There's no more fluid leaking out, and it looks like the dog is starting to regain consciousness.
Yeah, she's breathing easier now, and we can relax a bit. But we need to start building a shelter now that we've decided to wait it out here. It's better to prepare ahead of time than to find shelter in a hurry.
Let's use everything we have. I found some useful things, and I think they will be good to use for our shelter.
That's a great idea! I found something that will come in handy too. Let's start working on it. Try to make our shelter as comfortable and safe as possible.
The main thing is to create a safe space where we can hide from any surprises. We don't know how long we'll have to spend here, so we'd better make the best of it.
Yes, let's make sure we have everything we need for a long stay. The space must be comfortable and also provide us with protection from possible threats.
It is also important that we have a place to rest and recuperate. We have to be prepared for any surprises, so we will do everything we can to make our shelter multifunctional.
Right. Also, let's not forget a place where we can observe what's going on outside. If anything goes wrong, we'll need to react quickly.
Yeah, it's critical. Let's make sure we always have an overview of what's going on around us. We need to be ready at a moment's notice.
I forgot. There's some leftover prime drink in here too. We need to clean it up. Then we need to see what's going on outside.
Right. It's been too long since we've been monitoring things on the surface. I doubt anything will change there, but anything can happen.
Look, she doesn't seem at all concerned about what's going on around her. Despite everything that's happened, she seems full of energy, running around like nothing happened.
That's good, but we still need to be prepared. Who knows how long she can hold out under these conditions, but as long as she's okay, we're relatively safe.
You're right, but look how much water is still around. The village seems to be completely submerged under that drink, and the dog keeps running right through it.
Yeah, it's like she doesn't notice him, but we still have to keep an eye on her condition. If there are any signs of fatigue or changes, we'll need to react quickly.
It's a good thing we have this shelter. Now that we can observe what is happening outside and react in time, our chances of successful survival are greatly increased.
I agree. Let's leave her alone for now and focus on improving our cover, but we'll keep our eyes open so we don't miss anything important.
That's right. If anything changes, we'll notice right away and we can act. So far, she seems quite happy, which is a little reassuring.
I think we're on the right track. These iron blocks will be very useful. They'll give us extra protection and strength. It will definitely increase our safety.
Great! Iron is just what we need for security. We can use it to reinforce the most vulnerable areas of our shelter. Plus, I found some more furniture that will make a good place to put it.
Great find! It's important that our shelter is not only secure, but also comfortable. We're probably going to be here for a long time, so we could really use some comfort.
I agree. The more comfortable we feel here, the better. We have already done a lot, but this is just the beginning. It's important to finish everything before the end, so that we can feel safe at any time of the day or night.
That's right. We need to think of everything in detail. The iron blocks will help us create stronger walls and supports, and the furniture will provide coziness and allow us to relax a little when we get the chance.
Let's place all of this so that we are comfortable and safe. The main thing is to remember that every action must be thought out in advance. If we do it right, we can wait here as long as we need to.
I think we can create the perfect sanctuary. It should be multifunctional, but not too bulky. This is our home for the near future, and it has to be one that we can feel comfortable in.
Yes, a home away from home, but with an important mission to protect us in this challenging world. Let's keep working while we have the time and opportunity to improve everything to its perfect state.
We've already done a lot of work, but there's more to come. We need to arrange the furniture carefully so that the space is as functional as possible.
Yes, the main thing is not to clutter everything so that we have enough space to move around. In addition, each item must fulfill its role and be in its place.
That's right, and it's also important that everything is easily accessible. In a situation like this, every second is worth its weight in gold, and we have to be ready for any surprises.
For example, this item can be placed here. It will not get in the way, but at the same time, it will always be at hand. And those things that we use less often can be placed a little further away.
That's a great idea. And this corner can be made into something useful to maximize the space available. We need to create an environment where we feel comfortable and protected.
I agree. Don't forget also that coziness is important too. Having everything in its place and comfortable will help us stay calm and centered.
Absolutely right. The more order and organization, the easier it will be to manage stress. And now that we're arranging furniture, it's important to keep that in mind as well. Everything has to be organized.
Yes, even the little things can make a difference in the big picture. If we do it right, our shelter will be a real safe haven for us.
And don't forget about some important details that may be useful at a critical moment. It is better to anticipate everything in advance so that you don't have to improvise later under time constraints. And don't forget about some important details that may be useful at a critical moment. It is better to anticipate everything in advance so that you don't have to improvise later under time constraints. We're almost done with the basic stuff, but I feel like we still need to tweak the details a bit more to make everything perfect.
I agree. When the basics are done, we can think about things that will come in handy in the future. For example, how we will maintain our comfort and safety if we have to stay here for a long time.
Yes, we need to make provisions for a long stay. If everything is organized properly, we can live here for quite a long time until the situation outside changes. We need to stock up and make our shelter self-sufficient. How about a cookie? It's a small thing, but sometimes it's the kind of thing that lifts your spirits. You know, Mikey, after all this work and discussion, we could use a little break.
Let's go see how our dog is doing, in case he found something interesting again.
There she is, running around the village as if nothing had happened. She doesn't seem to be bothered at all by all these changes.
Yeah, but you still have to be careful. We've already seen the dog's body take a beating from that prime drink. Hopefully she won't drink it again. But if she does, we're here to help her again.
That's right. It's a good thing we decided to keep an eye on her. If something goes wrong, we can intervene in time to prevent trouble.
Let's get back to our business. We need to make sure everything's under control.
Mikey, everything seems to be going according to plan, and we've set up our shelter pretty well. But I think it's time to think about how to get to the surface. We can't stay here forever.
I agree, JJ. There's no point in waiting any longer. The tsunami seems to have subsided, and we need to check outside. But to do that, we're gonna need the ender pearls. We could really use it.
That's right. The ender pearl is our chance to safely teleport back outside. Let's take it to prepare for whatever may be waiting for us upstairs.
All right, then let's do it. With the ender pearl, we have a chance to get back to the surface safely.
Here we are at the surface. Well, as expected, the water level hasn't changed much. The village is still flooded, and everything looks just as we left it.
Oh, and our dog is still in diamond armor. At first it was scary that we might miss something important, but now you can see she's doing well. Good thing we didn't forget her and did everything we could to protect her.
While we're looking around, we'll also check on the other villagers as well. Hopefully they found a safe place and can return when things quiet down.
I agree. In the meantime, let's make sure everything we've done works properly. We've put a lot of time and effort into creating the shelter and protecting the dog, and it's important that all of our actions aren't wasted.
There's our house. At first you can't believe it's underwater. It's like time has stood still.
Yes, it looks like the water has penetrated every crevice, but we have to check what's wrong with the house. Maybe there are still things or some important items left there.
All right, let's take a good look around. We'll start in the main room and go through all the levels. We need to make sure nothing is irretrievably flooded and that we haven't lost anything.
Oh, that's right. I remember leaving some things in closets and chests. I hope they are still usable and haven't been ruined.
Water seems to have gotten into all the rooms, but maybe some things are still okay. Look, I think there's something left in this trunk. We should check it out. Keep a few buckets. We have a lot of work to do.
Now we cleanse the village of this liquid. It won't be a quick process, but we'll get through it.